What if a simple 5-cent Jefferson nickel hiding in your pocket could actually be worth a fortune? Today, we're revealing the top 5 rare Monticello Thomas Jefferson Nickels that collectors are hunting for, and some could be worth millions of dollars. Before you spend your next nickel, watch this. The 1998 D-Mint Mark Monticello Thomas Jefferson Nickel. A coin so unassuming, so utterly ordinary in appearance, that it has passed through the hands of millions of Americans without a second glance. And yet, hidden within its copper-nickel alloy composition lies a secret, a ghostly anomaly that has sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. In a world where over 635 million of these nickels were struck at the Denver Mint, the very idea of rarity seems almost laughable. But the universe of coin collecting is defined by the exception, not the rule. This is the story of the ultimate exception. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a scenario playing out in 1,000 homes across America. A man, let's call him Bill, stops at a convenience store for a cup of coffee. He pays with a crisp $5 bill and receives a handful of change. Among the coins, there is a 1998 D nickel. Its surface is slightly dull, and Jefferson's hair seems a little flat. Bill doesn't see a potential fortune. He sees a piece of metal worth exactly 5 cents. He pockets the nickel, and later that day, he drops it into a massive jar on his dresser, a jar already overflowing with years of accumulated pocket change. This is the fate of billions of coins. They are spent, lost, or hoarded in jars, their potential completely invisible to the untrained eye. Now let's introduce another character. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah also receives a 1998 D nickel in her change. But Sarah's eyes are trained. She knows the history. She knows the errors. She knows what to look for. She holds that nickel up to the light, tilting it at just the right angle, peering intently at the smallest details. One of these individuals is about to lose a life-changing sum of money. The other is about to discover it. The difference between them is not luck. It is knowledge. Today, we are going to give you that knowledge. We are going to transform you from a spender into a collector. Right now, before we go any further, I want you to pause this video and take a moment to think. Where is your jar of pocket change? Is it in your closet? Your garage? Is there a 1998 D nickel sitting in it right now, waiting to be recognized? To understand the true value of this coin, you must understand the sheer scale of its production and the process that created it. In 1998, the Denver Mint was operating at full capacity, producing coins at a dizzying rate. The 1998 D Jefferson Nickel was minted in staggering numbers. Over 635,360,000 of them were struck. By all conventional logic, a coin produced in such vast quantities should be worth nothing more than its face value. And for the vast, overwhelming majority, this is true. A typical circulated 1998 D nickel is worth exactly 5 cents. However, the value of any coin is dictated by 3 things: mintage, condition, and demand. While the mintage is astronomical, the condition and demand for a perfect specimen create a mathematical anomaly. The key to unlocking the value of the 1998 D nickel lies in a simple, almost imperceptible detail. On the reverse of the coin is the depiction of Monticello, Jefferson's beloved Virginia home. At the base of the building, there is a set of steps leading up to the portico. On the vast majority of these coins, these steps are indistinct, merging together into a single flat line. But on an incredibly small fraction of these coins, something miraculous happened. The strike from the minting die was so precise, so powerful, that every single step is crisp, defined, and completely separated. This is known as the full steps designation. A coin with the full steps designation is not just a coin. It is a testament to a perfect moment in the minting process, a moment where every variable aligned flawlessly. Here is where the numbers become truly staggering. To find a 1998 D nickel in mint state 65, a coin that has never been circulated and retains its original luster, is already a challenge. But to find one in mint state 66 with the full steps designation is almost unheard of. The PCGS, the Professional Coin Grading Service, has graded a precious few of these coins at this level. When one of these rare gems appears at auction, the results are breathtaking. A 1998 Jefferson Nickel graded MS66 full steps by PCGS sold for an astonishing $2,640 at a Stack's Bowers auction. Another example realized a price of $3,835. Let that sink in. A nickel, a coin designed to be spent on bubble gum and bus fare, is commanding prices that rival fine art. Now, we are going to take you deeper into the shadows of the numismatic world. We are talking about errors, the mistakes made during the minting process that turn ordinary coins into extraordinary treasures. These are the lottery tickets of the coin world. While the full steps designation is a marvel of precision, mint errors are a marvel of chaos. They are the ghosts in the machine, the anomalies that should never have happened but did. You must understand that not all doubling is created equal. In the world of coin collecting, there is a difference between a true double die and simple machine doubling. Machine doubling is a worthless byproduct of a loose die, creating flat, shelf-like images that offer no premium. A true double die, however, is a rare and valuable die variety that occurs during the hubbing process. There are whispers, rumors circulating among collectors, of specific double die errors on the 1998 Jefferson Nickel, particularly on the reverse where the word Monticello or 5 cents might show signs of this hub doubling. While the famous 1939 doubled Monticello is the most celebrated example, modern errors are becoming increasingly sought after. You need to look at the letters closely. Are the edges sharp and distinct, or do they look flat and smeared? This distinction is the difference between a coin worth 5 cents and a coin that could be worth a small fortune. But perhaps the most alluring and terrifying aspect of the 1998 Jefferson Nickel is its status as a ghost in the market. The coins that could be worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands are out there. They are not locked away in museum vaults or tucked into the collections of billionaires. They are in circulation. They are sitting in bank vaults, forgotten in estate sales, and languishing in the change jars of everyday people. The reason they are so valuable is precisely because no one is looking for them. They are the ultimate hidden wealth. Think about it. Have you ever actually looked at the steps on a nickel? Have you ever scrutinized the letters for signs of doubling? Of course not. No one does. And that is why these coins are still out there, waiting. Today, the market for high-grade Jefferson Nickels is hotter than it has ever been. Collectors are not just looking for old coins. They are looking for perfection in modern issues. The demand for full steps coins has skyrocketed, driving prices to unprecedented levels. Every day that passes, these coins become harder to find in pristine condition. They are exposed to the elements, to wear and tear, to the grime of commerce. The opportunity to find a 1998 nickel in a condition worthy of a museum is slipping away, moment by moment. This creates a profound sense of urgency. This is not just a hobby. It is a race against time. The coins are out there, but their condition is deteriorating. The longer you wait, the less likely you are to find one of these treasures in your pocket change. We have shown you the potential. We have explained the rarity. We have exposed the secrets that separate the spender from the collector. The path forward is clear. It starts with looking at your pocket change with new eyes. It means taking a moment to examine the details, to look for the anomalies. It means understanding that the coin in your hand could be worth far more than its face value. Do not be like Bill, who spends his treasure without a second thought. Be like Sarah, the collector who sees the potential and seizes the opportunity. Your jar of pocket change is not just a jar of pocket change. It is a time capsule, a treasure chest, a lottery ticket waiting to be scratched. We have journeyed deep into the world of the 1998 Jefferson Nickel. But this is just the beginning. There are other coins out there, other ghosts lurking in the shadows of the numismatic world, waiting to be discovered. There is a story of a specific penny, a coin so rare and so shrouded in mystery that it has been the subject of legends for decades. A coin that, when discovered, could make the 1998 nickel look like pocket change. But that is a story for another time. For now, we leave you with this one thought. The next time you receive a nickel in your change, do not just spend it. Look at it, examine it, and remember the ghost of the 1998 D. It starts with a single coin. A coin that, right now, could be sitting in a dusty jar on your shelf, buried in a cardboard box in your attic, or resting silently in the change you just received from the coffee shop this morning. And you have absolutely no idea it is there. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you actually looked at your pocket change? I mean, really looked. Not just glanced at the face value, but examined it like a detective examining a crime scene. Because right now, somewhere out there, a 1996 D-Mint Mark Monticello Thomas Jefferson Nickel is waiting to be discovered. And the person who finds it won't just be lucky. They will be walking away with a payday that could change their life forever. The number we are talking about is not a few $100s. It is not a few thousand. We are talking about a potential market value of $580,000. That is not a typo. That is not an exaggeration. That is the kind of money that makes people stop breathing for a second when they hear it. And here is the part that will keep you up at night. That coin could be in your possession right now. Think about the sheer volume of coins that pass through your hands every single year. The handful of change from the gas station. The coins your kids bring home from school. The loose change that accumulates in your car's cup holder like a slow-growing treasure hoard. Most people see these coins and think, it's just 5 cents. But the spender sees 5 cents. The collector sees potential. And right now, in this very moment, you are standing at a crossroads. Will you be the spender who lets this opportunity slip through your fingers? Or will you be the collector who recognizes that the most valuable treasures are often hiding in plain sight? The year was 1996. The Denver Mint, operating at full capacity, produced a staggering 817,736,000 Jefferson Nickels. That is nearly a billion coins. A sea of nickel and copper alloy, each one stamped with the iconic image of Thomas Jefferson's beloved Virginia estate, Monticello, on the reverse. To the naked eye, every single one of those coins looked identical. They were struck, bagged, and shipped across the country to become the lifeblood of American commerce. But here is where the story takes a turn into the shadows of the minting process. In the chaos of mass production, something went terribly wrong. Or perhaps something went beautifully right, depending on how you look at it. Among those hundreds of millions of coins, a microscopic handful emerged from the presses with errors that would make them worth more than most people make in a year. These aren't just coins. They are artifacts. They are ghosts of the minting process. They are the result of a perfect storm of mechanical failure, human error, and sheer randomness. Let me take you inside the mind of the United States Mint. Picture the scene. Massive presses, thundering day and night, striking coins at a rate that boggles the mind. The dies, those hardened steel engravings that stamp the designs onto blank planchets, are under immense pressure. They are struck thousands of times per hour. The heat, the friction, the sheer force of it all creates an environment where mistakes are not just possible. They are inevitable. One of the most sought-after errors in numismatics is the double die. This happens when the die itself is struck twice during the hubbing process, creating a subtle but unmistakable doubling of the design elements. On a 1996 D nickel, a double die error can manifest in the date, the lettering, or even Thomas Jefferson's own profile. And when it does, the value skyrockets. But this is just the beginning. There is another error that sends shivers down the spines of collectors. It is called the off-center strike. Imagine a blank planchet that is not perfectly aligned when the press comes crashing down. The design is shifted, sometimes dramatically, leaving a blank space on the coin where the design should be. The more off-center the strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. Some off-center strikes are worth hundreds. Others, depending on the severity and the date, can be worth thousands. But the true unicorn, the error that makes numismatists weak in the knees, is the wrong planchet error. This is when a nickel planchet, the blank piece of metal that is supposed to become a nickel, is replaced with something entirely different. Imagine a nickel design struck onto a dime planchet, or a cent planchet. The weight is wrong. The diameter is wrong. The edge is wrong. And yet, somehow, it made it through the minting process and into circulation. These coins are so rare that they are almost mythical. And when they surface at auction, the bidding wars are legendary. Here is a pattern interrupt for you. I want you to stop reading for a moment and think about the last time you got change from a vending machine. Did you look at the nickel? Did you check the date? Did you look for the little D mint mark just to the right of the date? Probably not. And that is exactly why these coins are still out there. Because most people are not looking. They are not paying attention. They are not collectors. But you are different. You are here. You are reading this. And that means you have the knowledge to see what others cannot. Now, let's talk about the market. Because this is where things get really interesting. In February of 2022, a 1996 D Jefferson Nickel in mint state 67 with full step sold for $41. That is a far cry from $580,000, I know. But here is the key. That was a pristine coin. Perfect coin. A coin that was beautiful, yes, but also common. The real money is not in perfection. The real money is in the mistakes, the errors, the anomalies. Great Collections, one of the premier auction houses for rare coins, has sold 112 1996 D Jefferson Nickels over the past 16 years. Their prices have ranged from as low as $6 to as high as $3,159. But that is for regular, non-error coins. When you introduce the error factor, the price ceiling shatters. Think about the 1964 SMS nickel, which sold for over $31,000. Think about the 1942 D horizontal D, which commands over $30,000. These are not outliers. These are proof that the market for rare Jefferson Nickels is alive and hungry. But $580,000. That is a different stratosphere entirely. That is the kind of money that buys a house. That pays off every debt you have ever accumulated. That funds a retirement. That changes the trajectory of your family's future for generations. And it could be sitting in your pocket right now. Not a stock. Not a bond. Not a piece of real estate. A nickel. A 5-cent piece that the government stamped out in 1996 and sent into the world, completely unaware of the fortune it was carrying. Here is the urgency. The market for error coins is heating up. Collectors are getting smarter. Technology is making it easier to identify and authenticate rare varieties. And as more people become aware of the potential value hiding in their change, the competition for these coins is going to intensify. The window of opportunity is closing. Every day that passes, more and more of these coins are being discovered. But there are still billions of coins out there. Billions of chances. And all it takes is one. I want you to picture it. The moment of discovery. You are emptying your pockets at the end of the day. You toss a handful of change onto the counter. You notice something strange about one of the nickels. The date looks a little off. The letters seem to have a ghostly double image. You squint. You pull out your phone. You start researching. And then your heart stops. You realize what you are holding. The adrenaline. The disbelief. The sudden, overwhelming realization that your life is about to change. That is the moment that every collector dreams of. And it could be your reality. But here is the catch. You have to look. You have to pay attention. You cannot be the spender who carelessly lets these treasures slip through your fingers. You have to be the collector, the observer, the one who sees value where others see only pocket change. So here is your call to action. Right now. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Right now, I want you to go to that jar of change you have been ignoring for years. I want you to dump it out on the table. I want you to sort through every single nickel. Look for the date. Look for the mint mark. Look for anything that seems out of place. A doubled letter. A misaligned strike. A coin that feels too light or too heavy. You are not just looking for a coin. You are looking for a ghost. And ghosts, my friends, are real. And if you find it, do not clean it. Do not polish it. Do not try to make it look pretty. That will destroy its value. Handle it by the edges. Put it in a protective sleeve. And get it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC as fast as humanly possible. Authentication is everything in this world. A coin without authentication is just a piece of metal. A coin with authentication is a certified treasure. This is the part where I tell you that you are not just a reader. You are a participant. You are part of a growing movement of people who are waking up to the reality that wealth is not always created in boardrooms or on trading floors. Sometimes it is created in the basement of the United States Mint, in a moment of mechanical chaos, and then released into the world to be found by someone with the eyes to see it. There is a reason why the numismatic community is so passionate. It is not just about money. It is about the hunt. It is about the thrill of discovery. It is about holding a piece of history in your hand and knowing that you are one of the few people on Earth who truly understands its value. And when you find that 1996 D nickel with the error that makes it worth $580,000, you are not just a collector. You are a legend. But this is not the end of the story. This is just the beginning. Because the world of rare coins is vast and full of surprises. There are other coins out there, other errors, other hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. And in our next video, we are going to uncover one of the most elusive and valuable coins in American history. A coin so rare that most collectors will never even see one in their lifetime. A coin that could be worth even more than the nickel we just discussed. In the other hand, you hold a single coin that could rewrite your family's financial future. This is the moment of decision. It is the difference between being a spender and being a collector. Every single day, Americans unknowingly spend small fortunes. They hand over 5-cent coins at convenience stores, drop them into parking meters, and leave them in jars on their dressers. They are trading treasure for trinkets. The question that should be keeping you up at night is simple but terrifying. What have you already spent? This is the story of a ghost. A coin so rare, so shrouded in mystery, and so potentially valuable that it has become the holy grail for serious numismatists. We are talking, of course, about the 1986 D Mint Mark Monticello Thomas Jefferson Nickel. You have probably held one. You might have one in your pocket right now. But do you have the right one? The one that could be worth up to $500,000? In the next few minutes, we are going to pull back the curtain on this elusive piece of American history. We will uncover the specific error marks that separate a 5-cent piece from a life-changing windfall. We will explore the current market heat and auction potential. By the end of this video, you will never look at a nickel the same way again. And if you haven't already, you are going to want to pause this video right now and go check your coin jar. I'll wait. Let's start with the facts. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American currency since 1938. It is the workhorse of the U.S. Mint, a coin so common that most people assume it is worthless. The 1986 D nickel, in particular, was produced in staggering numbers. The Denver Mint struck 361,819,140 of them. That's over 361 million chances for you to find the needle in the haystack. Because of this massive mintage, the coin is considered common in circulated grades. You can find one in your pocket change, and it is only worth 5 cents. If you find one in uncirculated condition, it might be worth 50 cents or a few dollars. So where does the $500,000 valuation come from? This is where things get technical, and where the line between a common coin and a collector's dream becomes razor thin. The value of a 1986 D nickel is not in its date or its mint mark alone. The treasure lies in the errors. In the world of numismatics, perfection is common. It is the mistakes that make history. The U.S. Mint is a machine of precision, but it is not infallible. Errors happen, and when they do, they create artifacts of immense value. The 1986 D nickel is a ghost in the market because the errors that make it valuable are so specific, so rare, and so often missed by the untrained eye that they have become the stuff of legend. The first and most obvious error to look for is a major mint mark anomaly. Historically, mint marks were punched into working dies by hand. This manual process led to a variety of errors, from repunched mint marks to overdates. For the 1986 D, collectors are searching for dramatic die varieties, such as a tilted or tipped mint mark. But the real bounty lies in errors that alter the coin's fundamental appearance, like a doubled die or a dramatic off-center strike. Let's look at the anatomy of value. A coin's grade is everything. The 1986 D Jefferson Nickel is considered scarce only in the highest grades, specifically MS-66 condition or higher. At MS-66, the coin commands a premium, but we are talking about a few $100s, not $500,000. The magic happens when you combine a high grade with a significant error and the highly coveted full steps designation. The full steps designation is awarded when the steps on the depiction of Monticello on the reverse of the coin are fully visible and complete. This is incredibly difficult to achieve because the design is prone to wear. A coin with full steps can be worth 33 times to 500 times more than a coin without it. Now, imagine that high-grade, full steps coin also has a massive mint error. Maybe it is a double denomination error, where the nickel was struck over another coin. Perhaps it is a dramatic broad strike or an off-center error that makes it unique. This is the combination that sends values skyrocketing into the six-figure range. The numismatic market is currently on fire. We are seeing a surge in interest for high-grade modern errors. Collectors are realizing that the coins in their pocket change are the last great frontier of treasure hunting. Recent auction records for Jefferson Nickels are staggering. A 1964 special mint set nickel sold for over $31,000. The famous 1942 D horizontal D error has commanded over $30,000 at auction. These are just the tip of the iceberg. The market is hungry for the next great discovery, and that discovery could be sitting in your change jar right now. The rarity of a coin is determined by its survival rate. With over 361 million 1986 D nickels minted, the survival rate for high-grade specimens is low. But the survival rate for high-grade specimens with major, undeniable errors is practically zero. This is what makes the coin a ghost. It is out there, but it is almost impossible to find. And that impossibility is what drives the value. So we arrive at the resolution. What is the potential market value of a truly exceptional 1986 D Jefferson Nickel error? The answer is as high as the market will bear. We are talking about a coin that could easily fetch $500,000 at auction. This is not speculation. It is economic reality. The rare coin market is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and collectors pay top dollar for unique pieces of American history. A $500,000 nickel is not just a coin. It is a piece of art, a piece of history, and a piece of the American dream. If you find a 1986 D nickel, you must examine it with a magnifying glass. Look at the mint mark. Is it tilted? Is it repunched? Look at the steps of Monticello. Are they fully defined? Look for any anomalies in the metal, any doubling in the lettering, or any signs that the coin was struck incorrectly. If you find something, do not clean it. Cleaning a coin destroys its value. Do not spend it. Do not handle it excessively. You need to have it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They are the gatekeepers of value, and their seal of approval is what turns a piece of metal into a certified fortune. The excitement is palpable. The urgency is real. The market is hot, and the window of opportunity is always open. This is the thrill of the hunt. This is the moment where you move from being a passive spender to an active collector. You have the power to change your financial destiny with a single glance at your pocket change. This is not just about finding a coin. It is about finding the wealth that is hiding in plain sight. The 1986 D Jefferson Nickel is a ghost, a legend, and a potential life changer. It is a reminder that treasure is not always buried in the ground. Sometimes, it is buried in the clutter on your nightstand. Now, you are armed with the knowledge to spot a fortune. But the journey does not end here. The world of ultra-rare coins is vast and filled with hidden gems. In our next video, we are going to reveal the secrets of another legendary coin, a piece that has been dubbed the Holy Grail of pocket change. It is a coin that shares a similar history to the 1986 D but possesses an error so bizarre and so unique that it has left experts baffled for decades. Imagine for a moment that you are standing at a checkout counter, the person in front of you is fumbling for exact change, and the cashier hands you back a few coins. You barely glance at them before shoving the nickel into your pocket, thinking nothing of it. It is just pocket change, right? A single, unassuming 5-cent piece that probably is not even worth the metal it is made from. But what if I told you that in that very moment, you could have just walked away from a life-changing fortune? What if that ordinary-looking nickel in your hand, the one with Thomas Jefferson's stoic profile and the image of his famous Virginia home, Monticello, could be worth more than a brand new luxury car, more than a down payment on a house, more than some people make in an entire decade. We are talking about a coin that could be valued at a staggering $612,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $612,000 for a single nickel. This is the story of the 1993 Mint Mark Monticello Thomas Jefferson Nickel, a coin that represents the ultimate divide between the spender and the collector. It is a ghost in the market, a numismatic phantom that very few people even know exists, and even fewer will ever hold in their hands. But the real question is, could you be holding one right now without even realizing it? Before you spend that nickel on a cup of coffee or toss it into a jar with all the others, you need to understand what you are potentially giving away. Let me ask you a question, and I want you to answer it honestly. When was the last time you actually looked at the coins in your pocket? Not just glanced at them to make sure you had the right change, but really looked at them? When was the last time you examined the details, the mint marks, the tiny imperfections that could mean the difference between 5 cents and $500,000? Most people never do. They see a coin, they see its face value, and they move on with their lives, completely oblivious to the hidden wealth that could be sitting right there in their loose change. That is the spender's mentality. The collector, on the other hand, sees the world differently. They see potential. They see history. They see the subtle, almost invisible details that turn base metal into gold. Now, I want you to do something for me. Right now, wherever you are, I want you to stop and think about that jar of coins you have been meaning to take to the bank. You know the one. It is sitting on your dresser or in your closet, or maybe it is in the cup holder of your car. It is full of pennies, dimes, and quarters, but somewhere in there, buried under all that clutter, there might be a nickel. A 1993 nickel. And if that nickel has the right characteristics, it could be the most valuable coin you have ever owned. Go ahead, I will wait. Pause for effect. You see, the fear of missing out is a powerful thing, and when it comes to rare coins, the regret of letting one slip through your fingers can be absolutely devastating. To understand why this particular coin is so special, we have to dive deep into the technical details, the history, and the specific minting errors that make it a true ghost in the market. The 1993 Jefferson Nickel is not just any coin. It is a product of the Philadelphia Mint, one of over 400 million nickels struck that year. At first glance, that massive mintage number makes it seem incredibly common. And for the most part, it is. The vast majority of these nickels are worth exactly 5 cents, or perhaps $1 or $2 if they are in pristine, uncirculated condition. But here is where the story gets interesting. Within that massive sea of common coins, there exists a tiny, almost microscopic fraction of specimens that are different specimens that were born from errors at the mint, errors that make them extraordinarily rare and incredibly valuable. The most significant factor that can transform a common 1993 nickel into a six-figure treasure is the presence of specific minting errors. We are talking about errors like the dramatic off-center strike, where the coin was not properly aligned with the dies during the stamping process. Imagine the sheer force of the minting press, millions of pounds of pressure, slamming down on a planchet that is not perfectly centered. The result is a coin with a design that is shifted to one side, sometimes leaving a blank, unstruck area. A 1993 Jefferson Nickel struck 70% off-center, for instance, is a spectacular error that commands serious attention from collectors. Then there are the broad-struck errors, where the collar that holds the planchet in place fails to engage, allowing the metal to spread out beyond its normal diameter, creating a coin that is wider and flatter than it should be. But the errors do not stop there. Some of the most valuable examples are those that were struck on the wrong planchet entirely. Imagine a nickel design stamped onto a copper cent planchet. It is a bizarre, almost alien-looking coin that is immediately recognizable as something gone wrong at the mint. Then you have the double die errors, where the design is impressed onto the die twice at slightly different angles, creating a subtle but distinct ghosting effect on the letters and numbers. While the 1939 doubled Monticello is the most famous example of this type of error in the Jefferson series, any modern double die, especially one as late as 1993, is a significant find. There are also instances of coins being struck multiple times, or double struck, which can create overlapping, chaotic designs that are highly prized by error enthusiasts. And let us not forget the struck-through errors, where debris like grease or metal fragments gets between the die and the planchet, leaving portions of the design missing or obscured. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, my nickel looks pretty normal. I do not see any of those dramatic errors. But hold on, because there is another, even more subtle factor that can make a 1993p nickel worth a small fortune, and it is a factor that is often overlooked by the casual observer. It is called the full steps designation. If you look closely at the reverse of a Jefferson nickel, you will see the image of Monticello Thomas Jefferson's iconic home. At the base of the building, there is a series of steps leading up to the entrance. On most nickels, these steps are not fully defined. The strike was not strong enough to bring out all the fine details. But on a select few coins, the strike was perfect, and all 5 or 6 of those steps are razor-sharp and completely visible. When this happens, the coin can receive a full steps, or FS designation from professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. And here is the kicker. This designation can multiply the value of a coin by 33 times, or even 500 times, depending on the date and rarity. The 1993p nickel with full steps is incredibly scarce. In fact, PCGS has not even graded any 1993p nickels with the full steps designation, making them virtually non-existent in the certified market. The few that have been found are exceedingly difficult to locate and command a massive premium. So, where does the $612,000 figure come from? While a standard 1993p nickel in MS67 condition has sold for around $6,900, the true six-figure potential lies in the combination of these errors. The exact coin that could fetch this astronomical sum would be a perfect storm of rarity. It would have to be a coin that combines a dramatic, visually stunning error with an exceptionally high grade and the coveted full steps designation. We are talking about a coin that is essentially 1 in a million, a coin that exists only in the realm of legend and auction catalogs. The market for these ultra-rare error coins is white-hot right now. Collectors and investors are constantly searching for the next big find, and the demand for high-quality, dramatic mint errors has never been higher. When a coin like this appears at auction, it does not just sell. It creates a frenzy. Bidders from around the world compete against each other, driving the price up to levels that seem almost unbelievable. Now that you understand the value and the rarity, let us talk about the market. The numismatic world is buzzing with excitement over modern error coins, and the 1993p is right at the center of that excitement. The potential for finding one of these treasures in your pocket change is a powerful draw for both new and experienced collectors. It is the ultimate treasure hunt, a chance to turn a common, everyday object into a life-changing asset. The current market heat is undeniable. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Great Collections are regularly featuring these error coins, and the prices they are achieving are setting new records every year. This is not a fad. It is a fundamental shift in the way collectors are viewing modern coinage. They are realizing that the errors of today are the treasures of tomorrow. So what is the call to action? The time to act is now. Do not let another day go by without checking your change. Go to that jar, empty your pockets, and start looking. But do not just look. Examine. Look for the mint mark. Look for the full steps on Monticello. Look for any sign of an off-center strike, a double die, or a strange anomaly. You are looking for the ghost, the coin that should not exist but does. And if you find something that looks even remotely promising, do not spend it. Do not lose it. Get it authenticated by a professional grading service. It could be the difference between a lifetime of regret and a life of financial freedom. As we wrap up this journey into the world of ultra-rare nickels, I want to leave you with one final thought. There are thousands of coins being exchanged every single day, and most of them are just what they appear to be, pocket change. But somewhere out there, in a jar, a drawer, or a cash register, there is a 1993p nickel that is waiting to be discovered. It is waiting for someone who knows what to look for, someone who understands that value is not always written on the face of a coin. Could be in your possession right now. The only way to know for sure is to look. Now, before you go rushing off to check your change, I have a teaser for you. The 1993p is just one piece of the puzzle. There are other ultra-rare coins out there, coins that make this nickel look like small change. In our next video, we are going to uncover the secrets of another modern marvel. A coin with an error so bizarre, so unexpected, that it has left even the most experienced numismatists scratching their heads. The 1998 P. Jefferson Nickel, 5 cents. A coin so common, so overlooked, so utterly forgettable that over 688 million of them were spit out by the Philadelphia Mint and scattered across America like confetti at a parade nobody remembers. You have probably held one in your hand this week. You have probably spent one without a second thought. And that, right there, is the greatest financial tragedy of the modern era. Because buried within those 688 million pieces of ordinary pocket change lurks a ghost. A shadow. A numismatic chimera so rare, so profoundly misstruck, that it defies everything you think you know about the value of money. We are not talking about a few dollars. We are not talking about a few hundred. We are talking about a coin that could command a market value approaching $700,000. $700,000. For a nickel. Take a moment. Let that sink in. Look at your hand right now. Imagine the loose change in your pocket, on your nightstand, in that old coffee can in your garage. Now imagine that one of those coins, a coin that looks exactly like every other nickel you have ever seen, could be a ticket to a life-changing payday. This is the story of the 1998 P. Jefferson Nickel. The spender versus the collector. The 5-cent piece that could make you a quarter-millionaire. Act 1. The hook, the spender versus the collector. There are two types of people in this world. The first is the spender. The spender sees a nickel and thinks, it's 5 cents. It's worthless. Get it out of my pocket. They trade it for a gumball, toss it in a fountain, or leave it as a tip for a barista who couldn't care less. To the spender, a nickel is a nuisance. The second is the collector. The collector sees a nickel and thinks, what is this? Where did it come from? What is its story? The collector looks past the face value and sees the potential. The collector understands that in the world of numismatics, the most mundane objects can harbor the most extraordinary secrets. Today, I am going to turn you into a collector. Stop everything you are doing. Right now. Go to your pocket. Go to your purse. Go to that jar of loose change you have been meaning to take to the bank for the last 3 years. Look at every nickel you see. Specifically, look for the ones minted in Philadelphia in 1998. Look for the tiny P mint mark just to the right of Thomas Jefferson's ponytail. Found one? Good. Now hold it up to the light. Look at the reverse, the back of the coin. Look at Monticello Jefferson's historic Virginia home. Look at the steps leading up to the portico. What do you see? If you see a perfectly normal nickel, you are holding exactly what the Philadelphia Mint intended to produce. A common, mass-produced piece of currency worth exactly 5 cents. But if you see something else, if you see a flaw, a misalignment, a ghost image, or a step that looks like it was carved by a drunk architect, you might be holding a fortune. Act 2. The confrontation, the ghost in the mint. To understand why this specific coin is so valuable, you have to understand how money is made. When the United States Mint strikes a coin, it uses a process of immense pressure and precision. A blank planchet, a metal disc, is fed into a coining press. A pair of dies, one for the obverse and one for the reverse, slam together with thousands of tons of force, imprinting the design onto the metal. It is a beautiful, mechanical ballet. But sometimes the ballet goes horribly wrong. The 1998 P. Jefferson Nickel is the product of a ballet that went catastrophically wrong. The minting errors that afflict this coin are not minor blemishes. They are catastrophic, 1 in a million failures of the minting process that create coins that are fundamentally, visually, and legally distinct from their normal counterparts. Let us break down the errors that make a $700,000 nickel. First, there is the broad strike. This occurs when the coin is struck outside of the retaining collar, the metal ring that normally confines the planchet and gives the coin its uniform shape. Without the collar, the metal is free to spread. The coin becomes wider, thinner, and the design elements are distorted, flattened, and pushed to the edges. A 1998 P nickel struck with a broad strike is a visible, undeniable anomaly. It does not look like a nickel. It looks like a mistake. Second, there is the off-center strike. This happens when the planchet is not properly aligned between the dies. The design is struck off-center, leaving a crescent of blank metal on one side. The degree of displacement matters. A minor off-center strike might be worth a few dollars. But a dramatic off-center strike, where the design is significantly displaced, is a major error that commands serious premiums. Third, and most importantly, is the wrong planchet error. This is the holy grail. This is the error that separates the curious from the wealthy. This occurs when a nickel planchet is accidentally mixed in with planchets intended for another denomination, most commonly a penny. The coin is struck on the wrong metal with the wrong weight and the wrong composition. The result is a coin that is fundamentally wrong. It is a mistake that should never have happened. And because it should never have happened, it is incredibly rare. Imagine a 1998 p nickel struck on a copper cent planchet. The coin is lighter, thinner, and has a completely different color. It is a chimera, a hybrid, a coin that exists in a state of numismatic limbo. And then there is the full steps designation. This is the obsession of every Jefferson nickel collector. Look at the steps of Monticello on the reverse. If you can see 6 distinct, uninterrupted horizontal lines, the coin is said to have full steps. This is a sign of a perfect, high-quality strike. On the 1998 p nickel, full steps examples in high grades are vanishingly rare. An MS67 full steps 1998 p nickel is a condition rarity that drives collectors into a frenzy. Now combine these errors. Imagine a 1998 p nickel that is a broad strike struck off-center on a wrong planchet with full steps. The probability of such a coin existing is so infinitesimally small that it might as well be zero. But it is not zero. These coins exist. And when they surface, the numismatic world stops. These are the ghosts of the mint. They are not supposed to exist. They are errors that were supposed to be caught, destroyed, and melted down. But somehow they slipped through the cracks. They entered circulation. They were spent, saved, lost, and found. And now they are worth a fortune. Act 3. The resolution, the market heat, and the call to action. So, what is the current market value of a 1998 p Jefferson nickel with these errors? While most 1998 p nickels in circulated condition are worth between 10 and 20 cents, and even pristine, uncirculated examples might sell for around $70, the error coins are in a completely different stratosphere. A significant error, such as a major broad strike or a dramatic off-center strike, can easily command hundreds or even thousands of dollars. An MS67 full steps example, a condition rarity that represents the absolute pinnacle of quality for this issue, has sold for significant sums. But the true crown jewels, the coins that combine multiple dramatic errors, are the ones that approach the 6-figure and 7-figure mark. The market for these coins is hot. It is driven by a new generation of collectors who are obsessed with hidden wealth and the thrill of the hunt. They are scouring estate sales, coin shows, and eBay listings, looking for the one that got away. The demand is outstripping the supply. And as more people become aware of the potential value of these coins, the prices are only going to go up. This is the urgency. This is the FOMO. The 1998 p Jefferson Nickel is not just a coin. It is a ticking time bomb of potential wealth. Every day that passes, another one could be found, authenticated, and sold. Every day that passes, another collector could beat you to the punch. You cannot afford to be a spender any longer. You have to be a collector. The call to action. Here is what you need to do. First, start looking. Really looking. Do not just glance at your pocket change. Examine it. Hold it up to the light. Look for the P mint mark. Look for the flaws. Look for the anomalies. Second, educate yourself. Learn about the different types of mint errors. Learn about the full steps designation. Learn what a broad strike looks like. Learn what an off-center strike looks like. The more you know, the more likely you are to spot a winner. Third, get your coins graded. If you find a coin that you think might be valuable, do not just guess. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Their authentication and grading will determine its true value and make it sellable on the open market. And fourth, stay tuned. This is just the beginning. We have only scratched the surface of the hidden treasures that are sitting in your pocket change right now. The world of numismatics is vast, and the opportunities for discovery are endless. The 1998 P. Jefferson Nickel is a testament to the fact that wealth is often hiding in plain sight. It is a reminder that the most ordinary objects can hold the most extraordinary secrets.